So we finally have the update we've been waiting for the DJI RC and the Air 2S. These two are now compatible, and this makes things so much easier now, because if you're using the Mini 3 Pro as the Flyby guys do, and you're also using the Air 2S as the Flyby guys are doing, this means that you don't have to carry multiple amount of remotes with you. Now, it's a good idea to have multiple remotes because you might have to use one as a backup, but at least it makes your workflow so much simpler that you don't have to keep taking out different ones all the time. So this is a great update. I'm going to show you how we go through this. It's about time. It is about time, and it's great. The marriage is now complete. I now announce you husband and wife. So for anyone just wondering why we don't have the Air 2 software update to connect to the DJI RC, it's because the DJI Air 2 is using OcuSync 2. So the Air 2S is using OcuSync 3. So OcuSync 3 is only compatible with the DJI RC, and that's why we have the Mini 3 Pro, and then we have the DJI Mavic 3. All these drones are using OcuSync 3. So no OcuSync drones that are using 2 will not be able to actually connect to the DJI RC. So we've downloaded the DJI Fly firmware for the DJI RC. So we are now just installing that. So we're now going to try to connect to the Air 2S, but you'll find out here that we actually cannot connect to the Air 2S because we don't have the Air 2S firmware update yet. So you'll see here that if I try to pair to it, that it will say that the firmware is incompatible, and so therefore we won't be able to connect to it. So now what we have to do is we have to go and download the firmware for the Air 2S and install that onto the Air 2S. Only then can we connect to the DJI RC. So this is what we're doing now. This will make things so much easier, and then we can actually connect to it. But the actual process itself is fairly easy. Just make sure that you connect to the internet, and and you can download everything. But please make sure you stay to the end, because I'm going to give you a couple of tips as to what we do, because although we are now going to be using the DJI RC as our main controller, that doesn't mean to say that you become complacent when it comes to using that RC, because I do recommend that you keep one of your N1s very, very close by, because you never know when you need to use the N1, because the actual, let's say the battery life for the RC is not great. And if you're using it as much as we're using it on a daily basis, then I do suggest that you keep an N1 handy. So now we have the software update for the Air 2S, so we're going to now connect to that. You'll see it's there, so we'll just select this, and then we are going to bind to the RC itself, and then this will now connect, and everything will be good. So I just have to change the bind now from the former N1, and then everything will be good. So just a couple of last words from me coming up now, and I hope that everything was good for your update. Please let me know if there was any problems, and yeah, here we go. So for those of you who own the Air 2S and you own the RC, because you will obviously own the Mini 3 Pro, it's okay, because you do have the N1 controller as well, but it just makes things so much easier to use the one remote. I will still be carrying the N1 because it's always good to have a backup. It's always good to have backups when you're out, especially when you're on the field, especially when you're working, when you're doing what we're doing. Always have backups. So don't get lazy by thinking, yes, we have this and now it's okay, I can just put this in the corner. No, I mean, we have multiple ones of these. I think we've got about maybe 4 or 5 of these, or even more. But I will always carry one of these with me, as well as this. So, because you never know what's going to happen. You might forget to charge it, you might be using it and you might not charge it on the way. And it's just good to have one of these in the backup. So, I hope this was helpful in terms of how to do the how to do the installation. don't get complacent. Carry your N1 with you just in case as well. It is a good tip. Trust me, I've been there. I've been there where I've had to have a backup. It is necessary because, you know, your client will not take excuses. Your client will not take excuses. So have a backup, make sure you cover yourself, and then you're okay. Okay, hope this was helpful. Enjoy the RC. It's a nice little remote, and I love the Air 2S. It's still one of my favourite drones because of the sensor size and its ability. The lack of aperture control is kind of, let's say, a bit annoying, but it's still one of my favourite drones. Hope this was helpful. See you all next time, and as always, fly safe.